Hi, Anthony Asquith of Affinity Training, helping you to communicate, collaborate and connect. I want to look at part 4, Never Be Lied to Again Ever, at some of the most common ways that people mislead us in our private and our business relationships. So one of the first things is people tell lies to save face. This might sound like, I'm sorry I was late, traffic on the M25, it was a real nightmare. Or they may say something like, I never received your invitation to the company's drinks reception to meet the new head of operations. Could you send that to me again, please? Now, these are what I would call innocent errors or cover-ups. From time to time they occur, we all do them a little bit to each other, mistakenly. And in themselves are low-grade little white lies. Not profoundly difficult or bad, provided done in very minor moderation. People in business and in private relationships like to know that whatever you say you're going to do, you're going to follow through with and follow on with. So whilst not a bad problem saving face, it's also useful to understand that if you do it too many times, after a little while, unconsciously you can begin to believe that it almost is a relationship of permissions to sometimes become a little tardy. Now, that's fine in itself, except for the fact it will probably cause you to lose potential business opportunities and stagger or stifle your further business growth or development. Conversely, if you are in dealing with someone who is a little like this, they'll often use utterances like, I'll try to make the meeting this evening at 8:30. Where did you say we're meeting again? At this point, you might want to stop and have a think about what they've just told you. I'll try to make the meeting. There's no conviction at all. So you need to get clear with them or uncover any uncertainties in their mind by saying something like, what exactly does that mean, George? What exactly does that mean, I'll try and get to the meeting at 8:30? Now, George might then respond, well, I'd like to try to get to the meeting, except I've got this, this and this, and I need to do that, Now, what I'm saying here is that this allows an opportunity for you, rather than ignoring the potential of him not showing up and you both being disappointed, this allows him or her the opportunity to express or talk to you about any concerns or doubts in their mind. At least you can then raise those and deal with them as and appropriately. Other ways people mislead us is that they, interestingly enough, lie to shift blame. This might come across to you if you're a salesperson. You might notice them say things like, well, our company's policy is not to do business with organisations that are existing within a certain, outside a certain radius. We prefer not to pay the extensive travel and subsistence costs. That may be true. However, it may not. Equally, you might have someone say, I didn't call you back this afternoon because I hadn't actually realised, my secretary hadn't mentioned it to me, that you'd phoned our office twice this morning already. So I'm sorry about that. What are these people doing in shifting blame? I think profoundly, they're trying to give up the appearance that they have control of a situation so they won't look stupid or weak in front of you. Which conversely is probably tied up with some far-fetched childhood pattern match that's occurred where they didn't like to look stupid, didn't like to look insecure. Frankly, nobody ever does, really. And so they've acted out on this in years and years and kind of gotten away with it. These are useful, but what's driving these behaviours is fear. So your role in uncovering or helping get past the initial smokescreen of this lie, this shift of blame, is to reduce the fear that they experience by suggesting ideas around safety that increases safety for them. So with the person you're looking to supply new goods and services to, you might be saying to him, well, look, Mr. Rees, I understand making a change of provider or service provider is a difficult choice. It's not one you take lightly. What might not be a bad idea to start with is to test us out. Maybe offer us 2 or 3 advanced orders we'll see then if we can come together with you to provide and supply those orders on time within budget as you have appropriately agreed over the phone. Would you be happy with that? And more importantly, it gives you a chance to dip your toes in the water and try us out to see if we're actually good. This is obviously a good starting point because you've automatically started to reduce the fear and increase the safety. With the person who hadn't returned your call, it equally might be a question of simply saying to them, look, I understand that you have a lot on your plate and you're busy. Would it be better for you if in the future I were to communicate with you, if we're sending marketing material, as opposed to having to put you on the spot by calling you up? Would it be easier and better if I actually arranged to communicate with you by email? That way you'll have a little bit of time to think my ideas through, consider the pricing options, maybe look and get evidence and information from other courses. Would this suit you better? So what you've both done in those two situations is reduced the amount of fear and increased the levels of safety the person can experience. Other ways of people lying and misleading you is that they will avoid confrontation. They'll say stuff like, oh, look, don't worry, I'll set off early, okay? So we won't be late for the meeting. Or conversely, they might say something like, you're doing a really good job, and we know you're trying your best to be the best you can be at the job, but you really do need to be better organised because, unfortunately, I worry that we may have to let you go as a result of this. Now, these are what I term believable excuses. There's some sort of half-truth within them that makes the blow a lot softer, in spite of it being quite a hard one to deal with. Let me be frank with you, this is all about, in a long-term relationship, sometimes being close to someone isn't always about being pleasant. Any relationship of quality and of value will always have highs and lows. That's the way life is. That's the way most things are in life, highs and lows. So it's better, it's quicker, it's easier to avoid telling fibs, because of course one of the things about telling fibs is you always have to remember what the fib was you've just told previously and then be able to build on it. And that takes a lot of conscious pressure to keep this facade up. No, maybe better, instead of telling a fib, focus on the message, within the message, whatever part of that message is actually the truth. So you might couch the comment in a different way by saying to them, look, John, we both realise that because of the current economic situation and budgetary cuts imposed by management, that it will be necessary for us to let you go. Now, we know that you're a very good worker. You try your best, you always have done, and we respect that and admire that in you. So there's the truth. At the same time, while we're having to let you go, we want to help you. That's close at our hearts. So what we're happy to do is to offer you fully paid leave to secure new employment opportunities elsewhere. And naturally, of course, because of our commitment to you and the fact you've shown commitment to us as a business, we're more than happy to provide you with a strong reference for future to maximise the future opportunities of you seeking gainful employment elsewhere over the next 2 to 3 months. So this is a very clear message, amplifying the truth and reducing uncertainty in the person's mind. Often better to tell them the hard facts first. 2 final examples of how people lie. First of all is that people sometimes lie, interesting enough, to get their own way. The majority of people who watch this video with regards to their approach to work or the way they live their lives often put in it what I would term a good shift. You do your best to help your business, do your best to work for your employers or employees, or even work for yourself. Why do people do this particular form of lying to get their own way? It may be that they perhaps feel at a workplace undervalued. In the back of their psyche might be something along the lines of, well, I do a menial job, they don't really need me, they won't miss me. Some may have a sense of entitlement. I've been working here for years. Have you any idea how much time I've worked here? When I worked for an insurance company that had people working like that, they had unofficial sick leave that they would often repeatedly take, and it felt as though it was an entitlement based upon the numbers of years they've been working there. These are all very well, but how do you confront someone who's repeatedly, continually doing this type of behaviour? Well, you first of all start by shooting the seagulls. Then you'd probably have a conversation with them. Something along the lines of, it's okay with me if you yourself want to take sick leave and sick time. That's absolutely fine. But this, however, does put your colleagues and the other people in the department in the lurch. They have their own responsibilities. So if we're going to get work done and you're going to take sick leave, I'm going to let you know now that it's necessary for you to make up the hours later in the week and probably do a couple of hours at the beginning of early next week in order to make up the time. So this is quite a direct way and often puts people off trying to pull the wool over your eyes, as it were. But talking about pulling the wool over your eyes to conclude my thought process on this is our own self-deception. We lie to ourselves to make ourselves feel better. A sort of statement in our heads might be something like, I would like to buy this product. I'll charge it to my card now because I'm going to pay the credit card bill as soon as it comes in next month. And well, why do we do this? Well, I suppose really to reassure ourselves that we're okay people. Also through a mixture of conditioning. We're duped by advertisers to believe that if we have more goods and materials, we're going to lead a happier life. And you know yourselves that just is rubbish. It's one of the biggest lies out there is advertising. But that's a whole new different subject. But this can be an especially dangerous misconception that you have about yourself. So my thought process about this is whatever it is you want to achieve, be real clear. It might be perhaps being debt-free. It might be a promotion. It might be improving your diet. It might be improving your health, being more organised in your life. Have a sense of what those things are. Really have a sense. Sit down, write them down, so you make them real clear. What they feel like, what they smell like, what they taste like. Make notes about this. This is quite neuro-linguistic, NLP based, but more importantly, the more clearer your mind is about what it is you want to achieve, the greater you're likely to conceive at doing that. So I'd like to say thank you very much for taking several minutes now out of your time. I don't want to spend any more time because obviously there's only so much brain glucose and attention you can give to this. I'll be coming back over the next couple of weeks. I've got some really fantastic, simple, quick stuff that you can start to pay attention to over the next couple of weeks, and hope you enjoy. Thank you again, and please feel free to get in touch if you've got any questions. If there's any topics you'd like me to talk about in this particular field of human behaviour, just let me know, and I'd be happy to help you communicate, collaborate, and connect. Cheers for now. Bye.